Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got in another flashlight to take a look at. This one's coming from Wuben and the model is the X4. This looks to be a really interesting EDC flashlight. It's fairly compact. It's got good output. It's got floodlight and spotlight plus RGBs, a rotary dial. There's all kinds of features on this. So stick around if you want to learn about it. We'll do a real quick unboxing, go over all the features and specifications. We'll go over the user interface. I'll give you guys some beam shots and then give some final thoughts on it. So it looks like our main lights are going to have a max output of 1500 lumens with a beam distance of 205 meters. The side light's going to have a max runtime of 720 hours. Kind of same stuff there. Here's your candela, IP68 water resistance, 1 meter drop tested. Not going to go over all of that. You can pause and read any of that you want. Let's pull it out and see how it is packaged and then everything that's included with it. So we got a manual right up on top here. Show you that in a minute. Looks like the flashlight itself. And then it looks like we're going to have a Type-C charging cable and a lanyard in this box. And that lanyard is branded and is adjustable. And then it's a Type-A to Type-C and it's also branded. So I always appreciate that. Does look like there's going to be an included 18650 battery as well. Try to quickly show you this manual. I always like showing them just in case you would get this flashlight and lose your manual. You can always come back to this video for reference. I think there's just a couple more pages here. Alright, let's see what this X4 looks like. I have the gray version. Probably hard to see with this lighting, but they also do make a black. Just kind of looking things over right now. So first thing I'm going to do is get this sticker off and then get that little insulation film off of the battery. So in order to get to the battery, we have this little lock right here. When it's up, it's in the lock position. When it's down, right there, it's in the unlock position. And then we have to push this right here and that pops that open. And there is our film that we needed to remove. Let's look at this real quick. Branded, an ABE 3400. So it's 3350 on the milliamp hours. Seems to be a pretty decent battery though. And then you just push it to close it. Technically you can leave it like this, but if you're afraid that you might bump into that or something, just push that back down and now it doesn't open. So up here on the top, we have the main light. I can see 4 different LEDs in here. I don't know which ones are running. We're gonna have our switch over here on the side. This is our rotary button or knob. That's the side light. This here is how we're gonna change to all the different modes that we're gonna have. And our charging port is hidden underneath there. That's that USB-C port. Manual says that there's a battery indicator light right here. I'll have to figure out how to see what our battery status is. And then we also do have a rear switch here that we'll be able to use. And it looks like this has a magnetic base to it as well. We also have a pocket clip over here. Grab you guys some quick dimensions on it. We're at 3.77 in length. Try to go to the widest spot here. 1.3 inches. And 0.78 on the thickness. And there it is in the middle of a dollar bill. Grab your weight. Right at exactly 5 ounces. I'm going to go over this user interface with you guys next. I know this looks really confusing, but trust me, it's not going to be bad at all. So again, we're in lock mode right now. You can kind of see those little arrows. This here is going to be for our side lights. That there, the kind of position there, that's side lights. Next position would be the main lights up here. And then finally, this is the moonlight mode. So if you're on the moonlight setting, you can basically just tap that. That's going to turn you on. You're at 5 lumens. That's going to run for 280 plus hours. On moonlight, you cannot adjust the brightness. It keeps you at that 5 lumens. You can also use the rear switch to turn on moonlight if you want to do that and turn it back off. Let's see if you can, yeah, so you could turn it on with one and shut it off with the other if you wanted to, but the tail does work on moonlight, but that's all that moonlight does. Now let's switch to the main light. And here again, you can turn it on with the side. It does have mode memory. And here you can adjust it with this wheel, how bright you want it. That flash right there means that we are at the highest of that point. And again, if you like the light right there, you can adjust it to there. It'll flash again once we get to the lowest, which it just did. All right, so you can stop anywhere that you want between that lowest, which is that 5 lumens again, all the way up to that highest 1500 lumens. When you're on the main light like we are right now, if you turn it on with this side button, you have to use the side button to turn it back off. You cannot use the rear switch. I'm going to turn this down to one of the lower settings and shut it off. And now I'll show you with the rear button, when you're on the main, it's going to give you instant access to that 1500 lumens, and it's a momentary. So when you press that, you get the full amount. When you release, it shuts off. And that is insanely bright. You can also have strobe from back here. So if you are sensitive to flashes, you can look away for the next minute, but you just double tap this rear. And that is a crazy good strobe. And that's pretty much it for the main light. We also have these auxiliary or side lights. It's going to have mode memory as well. And so I'm on these ones here, and you can use the wheel to change the brightness on it. And you can see that's pretty bright for a side light. So again, you get the flashes at the highest level and at the lowest level. You can stop anywhere in between. I'll try to show you guys this at night as well. And then if you want to switch to the RGB, just press and hold that. And again, that'll be mode memory as well. And you just turn the dial to get to all the different colors there. Like that's a green. It's a different shade of green. That's a blue. Almost like a purple it was, and then a red, yellow, but yeah, there's a lot of different colors through here. Say that you had one of your RGB lights on, you can actually double click this and it will go into like a beacon mode, and you can do that for any of those colors. So let's go back out of it and let's go to blue. I can double tap that and it goes into this blue flashing mode. In any color that you want to do. If the light is completely off and you double tap, you get like this combination flash. I think right now it's set up for red blue, so it's going to alternate between red and blue. You can double tap again if you don't want red blue. Now it's red green, and I believe there's one more. It might be red yellow. And finally, the last thing to show you is that battery status indicator. You have to be in one of the two middle modes. Won't work in lock, won't work in moonlight. So here, you're just going to press and hold for a few seconds. And you can see we have a blue flashing light. Blue flashing means we're somewhere between 90% and 40%. If it was a steady solid blue light, it means we're basically between 100 and 90%. A steady red light means we're between 40 and 15%. And if it's flashing red, we're somewhere between 15 and 0% and probably need to get it on a charger. And speaking of charging, it says that it charges at 2.4 amps and will take about 2.5 hours from a fully dead battery to charge it. And again, you can use that USB-C and just plug it in there to charge it up. Another thing is you can remove the battery if you have an external charger and want to charge it, outside. And another thing is you can use just any 18650s. This is a flat top. I could throw that in there and then everything should work perfectly fine. I always like to show you guys what it's going to look like in a pocket. Apparently they had a Kickstarter on the same light like 3 or 4 months ago, and it stuck up like really far, so they went back in and redesigned the pocket clip, and now it's, not very much at all, maybe a 1/2 inch or so that sticks up. So fairly deep carry. And let's check out that magnetic base. Holds itself sideways. Pretty decent magnet on it. Did want to show you guys that when it comes time for charging, your mode selector switch puts you up to Moonlight. That's the only one that's available because it's the only way you can access that charging port. So if you are charging, you can use Moonlight either by the tail switch here or by the side switch. But in Moonlight, again, the wheel does not change your output. But you can use it when it's charging. All right, we'll see what the X4 looks like here in the dark. I'm on the Moonlight setting here first. Again, this is not designed to be, very bright. It's only 5 lumens. All right, now we'll scroll through from this 5, kind of up to the 15. I'm probably halfway in the middle here right now. A little bit brighter. Probably getting close. Yep, there's the flash. You can see up there, there is a hot spot, but definitely a lot of spill with it as well. One thing I did find out is that you can be in this really low output and you can double click that side button and it will immediately take you to that highest 1500 lumen output. I'm going to do the strobe next, so if you're sensitive to flashing lights, you can look away for the next few seconds. Alright, let's check out this little side light here next. Got it on the low setting right now. I can probably see maybe about 8 to 10 feet in front of me. Let's change the output here. Kind of scroll through. Yeah, on the highest setting, that actually illuminates a room pretty well. Alright, we'll go through some of the RGB settings next. This is the blue. It's kind of like the purple. That's the red. Yellow. Green. I know the camera doesn't show all of them. That's like the other shade of green. And then back to the blue. And let's also do that alternating flash. I'll just show you the red blue. Alright, show you the X4 outside. Just do the high setting out here. There's a row of trees that's about 60 or 70 feet away from me right now. Light them up. And we'll shut it off. Light them up again. Just to kind of give you a comparison of off and on. It does throw a beam pretty well, actually. Probably going to be hard for the camera to really see it, but there's a tree that's back there that's almost 100 yards away, and I can actually see it pretty well. There's the X4 stuck on the side of the car, so you can see how helpful that would be if you needed to change a tire in the dark. And there's that signaling kind of stuck on the side of the car. I'm sure you could see that for probably several hundred feet, if not several hundred yards. Well, hopefully seeing those nighttime shots were somewhat beneficial for you. I was actually surprised by the overall performance of this little guy. So I've actually had this X4 for a little over a month now. I've been carrying it a lot, been using it a lot, and just want to share some of my thoughts, pros and cons, with you guys. I'll start with the pros, and the first thing I'll say is I really love the uniqueness of this design. You know, it's compact, it's flat, it doesn't really look like anything else, so I really like that. And believe it or not, it actually does carry really well in the pocket. This kind of deep design, I think it is a great EDC light. I like this hinged tail cap. You don't have to mess with unscrewing stuff. I like that you can charge the 18650 in the light, or you can pull it out. And I also like that you can just use any 18650. I think that this mode selector switch is a great idea. And then you also have your hidden USB-C port right there. I actually like the user interface of this. I know that when you look through the manual, it looks super complicated, but trust me, it's not. It's super easy. If we want the main light, we put it there. We just turn on the main light, and then you can just put it to whatever brightness you want. I mean, it really is that simple. I actually like that it has the side floodlight and not just the RGB. That floodlight right there, it's probably like somewhere around 3000 Kelvin, maybe 3500. But it's a really nice warm temperature color, but it lights up an entire room pretty easily. I do like they included a magnetic base. Again, that can be real useful. I actually like this rear tail switch. I didn't show it earlier, I don't think, but you can actually be in the floodlights for the side or for that RGB, and then still do that and still get your full 1500 lumens, or you can be up in the main light and obviously do it. But yeah, so either of those, you have access to that. And believe it or not, like I use momentary on my daily carry probably 90-95% of the time. Yeah, I'm looking for something or whatever, and then back off. I don't actually like hardly ever click it on. So I love having momentary. And the final pro that I'll say is I just think that it's built like a tank. The overall build quality is just excellent on this thing. So let's talk about a couple of cons. Earlier in the video, I showed this magnet. I was using a raw piece of steel, and the magnet stuck to that grate. I showed it, horizontally, which a lot of flashlights will want to fall off. I showed it vertically. I shook it. It was no problems at all. The night that I was out doing the testing and I put this on my son's car, it kept wanting to like turn. Instead of the light just being straight down, it would turn on me a little bit. And I realized that the magnet is only on half of the light. So it wants to like rotate on that. And just to demonstrate here for you, and it was actually going to fall off of his car multiple times, and I had to catch it. But like just the slightest bump here with something that's not that really thick steel, you can see how this thing will just move now. And if I give just any shake at all, it'll just fall right off. I mean, it really doesn't take much at all, but it turns just almost doing nothing. Just on its own, it will start to turn. And so I had to like kind of angle the light down toward that tire instead of having it exactly vertical or horizontal, I guess, how I wanted it. See how it just turns without you doing anything at all. It's hard to get it in the right position. And what I'd almost like them to do is figure out a way to maybe make the switch back here, that rear switch, make it magnetic as well. And then the second con that I'll say is the night that I was doing the shooting outside, I had this in the main front lights here. It's not like super hard to find the button, but it is hard. And I went to put my thumb up here on it, and when I did, it wasn't the high setting, And I'm like, what the heck? So then I went to turn the wheel and it wouldn't do anything. And I realized that I had just switched it to the moonlight mode. And this does not take hardly any effort at all. This thing slides with almost no pressure at all. I mean, like I can go all the way from off here and just slide my finger up and down. I mean, I'm really putting nothing on it. And so there's good and bad to that. But in the dark, it's super easy to not feel that you went to the wrong mode. And it was really right here. It was this last one up to the moonlight. You know, so I wanted a bright setting like this here. And when I went up here, I got this, you know, low eco mode or whatever, moonlight mode. So having said all that, I do wish that they could figure out a way to make this more difficult to go between the different modes here. You can see there's like little holes. That's probably like where it's stopping at or whatever. There's probably something underneath this plastic switch that stops in each of those holes, but it takes almost no effort to get out of those. So if they could figure out a way, that would be real helpful, I think. The one thing I will caution you guys on is if you're in the RGB or the side light mode or the main light, it doesn't matter. Be a little bit careful when this is in your pocket because you're not on any type of lockout right now. And this rear tactical switch here does not take much effort at all to activate. I mean, almost none. Like you can just like move this. Like I'm not pushing down on the light at all. All I'm doing is moving it over. And again, imagine this is in the bottom of your pocket because this part's sticking up now. And if you just kind of turn the wrong way, that's a lot of lumens coming up. And granted, this part's sticking up out of your pocket, but if you're sitting, your gut is going to be there, or maybe like, you know, you're still at the top of your pants or whatever, but this thing gets super hot, super fast at 1500 lumens. So just, I'd probably get in the habit of just putting it back down in the lockout after every use. So I am recording this video at the very end of August, and right now these are not available for sale. Not on Amazon and not on Wuben's website. I'm being told that sometime in very early September, so probably another week or so, they should be available, or maybe by the time this video comes out, they might be available. Whenever they are, I will put the Amazon link and the wubenlight.com link down in the video description. If they offer me any type of discount code, I will put that down there as well for you guys. But alright guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please give me a thumbs up or consider sharing the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.